What's going on, everybody?
To the Holly.
What's going on? What's going on? This is the Holly Flavored Podcast, episode number 10. This is episode number 10 of the Holly Flavored Podcast, guys.
You are now tuned in. You are now tuned in to the Holly Flavored Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? How you feeling today? This is the Holly Flavored Podcast, episode number 10. I am your host, Eddie Royal. Had a couple of things go on in entertainment this week, and right now the most pressing matter is the Nicki and Cardi B thing. So let's get right into it. What I'm going to do is, for those who are watching on the Facebook Live and Instagram Live, I'm actually going to play back some of the video content from Cardi B's page. He was kind of ranting a bit, so you guys won't hear it, but if you heard it, you'll know what I'm talking about, because I'm going to break it up into different segments and pretty much just break down the sections of everything that she's talking about. So I'm going to get right into it. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B is back at it, and I'm not going to say I didn't really get intense, but the fact that Cardi B actually had a lot of things to get off her chest, so to speak, and seemed more open about the situation. I actually like that part. She's always been, the person that's been more open about just her in general and a lot of things that's been going on. She's been a lot more open. So I'm going to start this from the beginning of her thing. I'll break it down. I'll discuss a couple points throughout what she's saying. But Cardi B starts off, a little like Cardi B.
Right? How you saying that I got ragged by Riley when there is so many footages of that night, every single angle,
right,
and where am I getting ragged at? Why would I be here sitting in line like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, knowing that the next day there's gonna be so much footages of that same night?
I'm gonna pause that there. So she's saying that why would she not say, like, Nicki Minaj made a claim that Riley was the one who put the lump on Cardi's head, etc., and pretty much Cardi's like, one, I hate the fact that she said so many footages. Her grammar, it's so bad, it's disgusting. But she saying like, why would I, if there's so much footage and things like that, why is it not out and all this other stuff? She goes and talk about that. Why would I, it's nothing to lie about if the footage was really there. If that was the case, that is, it would have been what it would have been.
And second of all, how you say that I was the wild animal, that I attacked you, that you was mortified, that you was humiliated, playing the victim, but now you're the gangster? You need to pick a side. Do you want to be the victim or do you want to be the gangster? You lie so much you can't even keep up with your fucking lies. First you're saying that you got the footage, your cameraman got the footage,
Fact.
But now you're talking about you want to pay somebody $100,000 if they give you the footage? Yo, makes sense when you talking.
One, Cardi B should never be able to tell somebody that makes sense when they're talking. But aside from that, she's saying, the claim of Nicki saying like we got the video and then offers up $100K for the video if someone sends her footage of the fight or whatever is absurd. Either you got it or you don't got it. So don't make the false claim and then offer money for the video that you say that you already had. That's crazy. But Nicki saying that she was mortified and felt humiliated and things like that. That's valid. Like, you can say that. Like, that was an event where things like that shouldn't happen. Just for the sake of where you are and the people that are there in attendance and the type of business and the opportunities you can get from rubbing elbows with these people, something like that should not have happened in that setting. And for the people who go to bat for Cardi B in this situation, saying if it was my kid, whatever the case may be, in the same notion, a lot of you wouldn't do this at your regular jobs. Like, you're not doing, like, a lot of us aren't in this position where we're making the type of money that they're making. You wouldn't do this at your regular job. You will wait to get off, or you'll discuss it at work. You wouldn't just go into your job because somebody allegedly liked the tweet that had something to question your parenting skills, and you want to go and fight at work. A lot of you wouldn't do that. A lot of you aren't built for that same type of vibe. You lose that job, and then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, Cardi can lose one endorsement and pick up another one. Not saying it's going to be easy to do, but it'll happen in the long run, especially the way Atlantic is putting a lot of their resources behind her. But for you to lose a job over that, you don't really support that. You like to see it. You like the love and hip hop energy. That's cool for entertainment value, but at the same time, these are people's lives. Like, this is somebody's livelihood. This is how they make their money. This is how they provide for their family. So for you to go to bat for that, Ari, I went in on it before saying, like, you're not really a fan if you want to see somebody's downfall. After they done climbed to the top, you should want to keep them up top. You don't want to see the same things. You don't want to see them doing things that'll knock them down. So it's crazy.
I thought you was the victim. I know what there's footage of. You standing on the wall talking about, I'm standing right here.
Cardi
Miss
funny.
Chung Lee, the Street Fighter. And
Miss
since you
Chung
want to
Lee,
bring
the
that
Street
motorsport
Fighter,
shit up
she
again,
is
I'm
hilarious.
glad you brung it up because I've been dying to talk about it for a fucking hot minute. First of all, you changed your verse 2 or 3 times, and the day before we were supposed to do the motorsport video, you turned in your last verse of it. And
I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm probably not gonna play no more. It's a lot. She's talking about the motorsport verse that was changed multiple times by Nicki. Now, Cardi's speaking on like she just changed it in a sense of like making it seem like I'm changing it because Cardi had the better verse or whatever. But we all know, or we don't all know, we all have heard, I guess, between this time that she changed the verse because Cardi forced Atlantic to tell her to change the verse or she's not going to do the song. And it's just threatened a lot of her things with her power there at Atlantic that she has now, because she is the top, one of the top ranked artists there on a label that they're trying to make sure they get her money back. So they're going through all of these things, and she's talking about how her verse was changed, and then like up to the last day right before they shot the video, they changed the verse again, and then they went on with it. But if Cardi, if the original verse, and a lot of the original verse leaked, or the original verse leaked, or parts of it leaked before, a lot of it was taking shots at Cardi. Like, we knew who she was talking about throughout the verse, and Cardi wanted it changed. She wasn't with it. And so Atlantic, being her resource and her label, they were like, okay, we'll tell her to change it, or she won't do the song. And I'm assuming she really wanted to do the song, or she already got paid for it, whatever the case may be, or they contracted a swap for music, and they went on with it. So okay, she changed the verse because you got mad about the verse. Don't make it seem like she just changed the verse and kept it moving and all that. But let's get into something like I want to talk about as far as this whole situation is the fan wagon. It's like, and my man Selly Cell said it on Facebook too. He was speaking about it earlier and was like, now all of a sudden nobody's a Nicki Minaj fan. When all of these women were running around just 2-3 years ago, before Remy got home and all this, running around like, everybody was a Barbie. Everybody was a Barb. It's part of the Barbs. And they was tweeting every quotable Nicki line they can find and all this other stuff. And I'm saying, like, it's ridiculous how in that short time span, because this is a short period of time, 2 years, 3 years, a short period of time to write somebody off like they weren't someone you looked up to for years and years up until this point. Like, what's up with that? Like, and of course it's I'm speaking mainly to the females. Like, why the sudden change? What's the reason behind changing so fast? And first you're a Nicki fan last week, and then this week you're a Cardi fan. Like, what is it? Is it like, hey, it can't be the music. One thing it cannot be because the music is better, because that'd be a false claim. It can't be because Cardi B's a better rapper, because that'd be a false claim. So I'm looking at it from a musical aspect, an artist aspect. I'm not looking at it from the gimmicks and what I deem to be entertaining on VH1 or whatever, or what I deem to be entertaining on Instagram or things like that. Yeah, do people feel like they connect more with Cardi B on a lower level because, one, she's still on the rise, and two, she's a little more active on her social media platforms? Yes, but that doesn't make her the better person nor the better artist. Just she just turned herself in for getting uh girls beat up at a nightclub because they slept with her man, and instead of addressing that privately because of your platform. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a gripe about it, you shouldn't do anything, but instead of addressing it privately, it's public. You go out and you get these girls threatened. So now we're all, we as in like the public, the majority of people that are shifting to this Cardi side. I'm not one of them. I'm neutral, but you got people shifting and saying like, oh, now they're saying the people who were just Nicki fans not too long ago quoting all her music, now she's whack. Nicki's trash. Nicki's this, and I'm like, I don't understand how did Nicki become trash so fast against a person who admittedly don't write her own stuff. For one, that's a major plight. Like, not saying like, hey, I every now and then somebody come and help me with a hook. She don't write. She like, and I don't care if I don't write. She said it. I don't care about that. I care about hits. I don't care about being all lyrical. I don't care about writing. I only care about hits. And we excuse it after we just killed Drake over it, or tried to kill Drake over it. We excuse it now because it's a female, which is why I always say females in hip hop got it a lot easier if they look good, or if they portray themselves a certain way, or if they dress a certain way, and then they have some okay music or something that's catchy. It's a lot easier for them to get the looks and views and spins. They just can't maintain it. That's the thing, because they always want to beef, and they always want to be the baddest bitch, and they always want to be the best, and these bitches, and like, it's always like that with women. And it's not like we're not always putting the women against each other. They come out like that. They come out like these bitches can't rap, and I really spit real bars, and this, like, a lot of them come out like that. And then when they get to a bigger platform, they're supposed to be welcomed with open arms by the people who are actually in the mainstream. Like, no, get the fuck out of here. You went 5 years underground trying to say how much you were a better rapper than everybody who was over top of you, and now you want to feature. Kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. And the female artists out here, they be bugging sometimes. A lot of them are not good. A lot of them are trash. And I'm talking from the if I'm putting them on the same playing field as male rappers, there are a lot of female rappers who are not equally qualified as a rapper. So that's why when we start talking about female rappers, we say, oh, she's nice for a girl, because we start to separate them. It's the same thing. We do the same thing with sports. We do the same thing with a lot of things. Oh, yo, she can hoop. Like, the best female in the WNBA can't check rock with LeBron James. So we say, oh, she's nice for her lane. That's her lane. You see what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing when people break things up like that. But when you want to be so equal, especially now, we're in this Me Too era, and I want to be equal, and everything should be the same. So now I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to look at your music equally. You can't rap better than like Nicki can't rap better than J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? Nicki can't rap probably better than the top 10 male lyrical rappers who are active right now. She can't rap better than them. You know, but when we take all the males out and start breaking down the female rappers, she can rap better than most of them. She's in the top of the female rappers, especially with people who are penning their own lyrics. So it's crazy how now it seems like a lot of the females just flipped on her. Oh, she's trash, she's whack, and she corny, and it's fucked up how she's trying to stop people bag and all this other stuff. And it's like all of them are doing it. Nicki got some proof that Cardi B stopping Offset, even though that's her dude. Offset and other people, just people in general, about getting bags, and Cardi B now boasting, oh, they sent me that song too. Okay. Someone's shopping a song. So if they sent it to me, and they sent it to you, and they probably sent it to somebody else, or they sent it to me and you because we're the two top females in the game right now, and they're going to sit there and wait and see who picks it up first. Who want to do this? Like, they're doing their due diligence for their own. Don't make it seem like, they sent it, because she was like, oh, they sent it to me, and we turned it down because I got a lot going on and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so does Nicki. And maybe she just decided to take the track. You just like the other track that you did take, that the G-Eazy track that you took, that you said Nicki turned down, but now she was mad about it in the aftermath, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you don't have to take the record. You got other things going on, or you're not feeling. You don't have to be feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it doesn't make you a better artist. They're the people who are shopping the record are shopping the record. Don't feel special now if they only sent you the record and that's it. And without you, there's no record. They just watched it. Then that's something different. Or they sent you the record and 4 years later they finally just said forget it and gave it to somebody else. Then that's different. But they sent us y'all around the same time. And you decided not to do it and she did it. And vice versa on the other record. So it's crazy, you know, and that could be a little like issue as far as you not pinning your own stuff too, because it's like if you're not pinning it all and you're trying to put all of this workload on the people who are actually writing your stuff and they don't have the time to do it, or they already are working on your new album, whatever the case may be, you can't take on too many new things. You know, you out here trying to get these endorsements and you getting in the little Fashion Nova bag and all that. Cool, do your thing. But you're doing now a lot of things that Nicki already had, like she's already been a part of on other platforms. And I'm just trying to find out where the disconnect happened, where a lot of the females stopped liking Nicki Minaj. Now, I can say maybe the younger females, that's different. That's the same way with like the younger generation in general liking a lot of the music that a lot of the older generation don't like, because we're just going through a transitional period in music, and we always go through every 3 to 5 years. There's always a new wave of something. So that I can understand. If you're younger, you're into a lot of reality TV. I understand it if that's your mode. But if you're older and Nicki was your girl and you was popping, and then you just throw it to the side because this other girl seemingly got a little better wave right now. She a little ratchet, so it's entertaining. You can watch her. And you throw all of that in the same bag and you take that like this is her and her music and this, that, and the third. Like, you can't bundle all of that stuff up. Like, I don't know nothing about J. Cole's life. But when his music drop, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I like him as an artist. So if you're looking at them as an artist and you used to quote her music and all this other stuff, her music is still going to be, she's making the same music, which is the issue that we have from her, that, oh, you got to grow more and do more things. But you liked her music, period. Her music is the same. You like to keep. You don't have to dislike her music now because you see a little wave going over the Cardi side. So now you want to fit in and you want to be like, yeah, fuck Nicki, she trash. And vice versa. You don't have to say, fuck Cardi either. I'm kind of neutral in the whole situation because there are songs that I like from Cardi. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm putting together an idea of their entire artistry, she can't fuck with Nicki for real. Because a lot of these same songs that Cardi are doing, if they were Nicki songs, they'll still be hits. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing distinctive about what Cardi has been doing. In my opinion, there's nothing distinctive that sets her apart. She doesn't have anything that's like, okay, besides her antics on social media and her other side. But all of these songs, you like, sometimes you can look at a song and be like, all right, this song really don't fit this person. But a lot of Cardi songs can fit almost any female rapper. It's like, okay, anybody could have rapped this. Anybody except probably Rhapsody and Young M.A. could have did this track. And Young M.A. probably still could have pulled it off a little bit, depending on which track we're talking about, but they got the chick Bad Baby over there at Atlantic too, and she's doing the same exact type of songs that Cardi B is doing. So the factory is just pumping out the same stuff. Cardi is just getting a bigger feature. She's getting a bigger hit. She got a bigger wave as far as what like actual hip hop and people that are actually listening to hip hop music. She got a little bigger wave. And that's about it, man. Like, it's not too much. It's not too much. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on the reasoning behind why you would just step away from an artist and transition to another artist and you instantly hate the other artist without, it's like false claims, like, oh, Nicki a hater, and you're like, you don't know she a hater. You have no real idea. People can express themselves and not like something or say something is payola or whatever the case may be, and start exposing more of the underlining things that about the business, because the music, like the entertainment industry, period, is brutal and is nasty, and money will get you further faster if you got it and you put it in the hands of the right people. So I can't combat the fact that it's like, okay, you know, they were paying people to put them on a playlist, and they were paying people to play them on the radio, whatever the case may be. That's something that's been going on forever. Is it illegal? Yes. Is it like, but is it still going to be done? Yes. If it's not with cash, if that's not the thing, like, hey, we're going to send you cash to do it, it's something else. We're going to provide you an opportunity, or put you in front of a panel, or put you in front of the right people, or give you more business, or send more artists your way. Whatever their form of currency is, if it's not cash, they can still do it. It doesn't matter. We're going to send all of our artists that are popping under this brand your direction first. You get the first insight, the first look, the first listen. So they own it. So I believe Nicki when she says stuff like that. I believe her when she say about, the whole payola thing. I don't believe that it's always cash, but I do believe that there are people pushing buttons for people. Even for her, even for Nicki. I think some people called in a couple shots and did some things for her, Birdman and Wayne and them. They had some pull, and they still have some pull. So I believe they got some things done, in her favor before. But probably not to the extent of what they're doing for Cardi now, because the game has changed as well. It's not just radios and toss a DJ $300 to spin your record in the club all night type thing. It's like, nah, they paying tens of thousands to put you on a playlist just to get streaming numbers up, and like it's so confusing. Not confusing if you know what's going on, but it's confusing because you still don't understand the algorithms, or you don't know who the people are. So, but it's crazy. This Nicki and Cardi beef. Nicki tried to dead it. Said, look. She talked about music. She said, if we're not going to make records, let's stop talking about it. She also said, let's go and be on some people stuff. She's tired of talking about it. So she say. So hopefully, maybe it's dead. Maybe you'll get a few records out of this, but I don't see how or why. Maybe so. But let's move on. We have since we're still talking messy, since we're messy right now, we got some things going on. Brittnay Renner dropped a book. Judge this cover, and she's speaking on a couple of the celebrities that she had sex with, all in its tell-all book. To me, the big news, it's okay. I personally don't really care. She named people like Colin Kaepernick. She got Lil Uzi, Drake. Like, it's a couple of people. Like the mixture of bodies, and on her popular side. It's crazy. It just seemed like you're bed hopping and you're trying to find anything. And she's like, oh, yeah, celebrities are easier. A lot of these male celebrities are dicking down a lot of these women raw, which is, pretty much a great sign for gold diggers who are trying to get that child support bag, pretty much. Okay. And a lot of these gold diggers are going in and getting hit raw by multiple people. One, they're doing it with regular guys. And so, of course, they're going to, if you're going to fuck, fucking Quincy from up the block raw, you damn sure are going to get that shit up to Drake raw if he acts. Like, you're cause in your head you're going to say, well, I did, like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? So you don't like your care meter goes down, caring about your body and caring about the potential outcome of having a child, because this person's rich. So regardless of what happens, I'm still going to be set. Even if it's not through child support, this person better take care of me and the child. So, but that's not the main thing I really want to talk about. What I really want to talk about is how, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know too many male tell-all books. I don't know too many of them. Every time, in my recent memory, there's a tell-all book, it's always a female. It's always a female coming out, and it's always who she had sex with, or who dick she was sucking, or all these different things, And I was watching State of the Culture, and they Joe was on there, Scotty Beam, and she's always like pro-black or pro-female or pro-black female. It's always something where it's like she's it's not she's giving the benefit of the doubt. She's always like siding, and I feel like sometimes she just sides. No, she does. She sides out of bias, in my opinion. She sides a lot of times with the female, the black female, or just the black person out of bias. But in this case, we're just gonna go with the female. She sided with the female, and she was like, why is it such a bad thing that she did it? I don't knock her for trying to get her money and stuff like that. And I'm like, I do. I knock that, because it's like, why why is a tell-all book the only way you can go about trying to make a couple dollars? You know, how about you just get creative and write a book about anything? You could have made that a book about relationships and kept all the names out. You couldn't made that a book about you just being your own groupie and kept the names out. You know, you don't always have to drop the names, but or the reference to the person. However you decide to decode it, you can go about it a different way, or you can just be more creative, or you can just not chase that bad, because sometimes you can do more harm to the other people that you're now disclosing all this information about them, especially if it's years later down the line. It's not like you did it last night and you pop up on your Instagram and I'm like, oh, last night just fucked Colin Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. It's like something like, especially now with Colin Kaepernick, he's doing so many other things um positive. And I'm not saying like having sex with her was not a positive thing. It was consensual. They both agreed to it and things like that. That's their life. But right now, to have those type of headlines behind what he's trying to do as far as his social injustice reform and all that, like, come on. It's very, in my opinion, it's very tasteless. Um, and it's sick. But I want to get into, on State of the Culture, just real quick, when they were talking about it. This is the point in the show where they brought it up, and her and Joe actually went at it for a little bit. So I'm going to play a little bit, probably stop it every now and then to discuss it.
I think Brittnay Renner, just sees dollar signs with this. You know what I'm saying? She's exploiting herself in order to get a quick buck. And I, for one, don't really fault her for it, because if that's what she wants to be known for, that's what she wants to be known for. I can't really get upset that she decides that she wants to expose people who knew that this was going to happen. Like, at some point, we have to start holding the men who have sex with her accountable and say, oh.
What do you mean? Fuck.
Huh?
This is amazing.
Well, accountable. No. Accountable as far as, hey, you fucking with her and you should know that she's this kind of woman. Boy.
So Scotty Beam is saying, like, it's crazy. Like, when I was watching it, I literally, like, when his face and his energy shifted, I literally felt the same way at the same exact time. What do you mean that the men who had sex with her should have known the type of person she was and that this was going to happen, i.e. the tell-all book? So why should they know that? Like, why would you go in assuming if I have sex with this person, a couple years from now, she's going to write a tell-all book about our personal business so she can make a couple dollars? Nobody knows that. That shit is not cool. It's not cool. And honestly, if a man did it, if there are such things as male groupies, but it's not as dominant in entertainment as, from what I understand, it's not a dominant thing in the entertainment industry as female groupies. I mean, female groupies sleep with the women too, so it doesn't matter. But if there were like if male groupies was a super dominant thing and they were actually like out here popping in the streets and in the sense of, they're gonna be at the shows and one of them are gonna get an opportunity with whatever the female artist act is and things like that, and then years later they did a tell-all book, like he would be killed by women. He would be killed by guys. Would be like, oh, he out here slinging it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had this chick, that chick. Oh, he popping out here. But of course, we already know how it is, a double standard. We looking at things, and then the females will be like, that's real classless. How, like, why would you go out and tell all these females business, and this girl's married now, and this girl got a baby now. It don't even matter. You were just a fling and all this other stuff, so why does it even matter? It's the same thing now. Like, it doesn't change the idea just because now was a female trying to get a couple dollars. She, like, stop. That's like you're exploiting these men. Especially the famous ones. You're exploiting them, and it's like, that shit ain't cool. It's like you come around and you're a thing for a little while, and then your thing that gets put on the shelf or pushed aside for whatever reason is, and like, I don't know if you were looking for a real relationship, you were looking to find somebody to settle down with, or you were looking for the richest person you can find to be with and things like that. All of that stuff kind of goes into play when you're doing stuff like this. And then the tell-all book only says that none of it seem to be genuine. Now, I'll never read the book, but over time, I'll hear about things that's going to be in it. I'll hear all of the exact names. I'll end up hearing some of the details. I'm not excited to read it. It's just the idea of it is that it fascinates me more. So they go in a little bit more here on State of the Culture.
Boy, do I get mad when women like Deani come in and say, "Oh, everything is fine, but I don't see why she's being judged."
Right,
you know?
right.
Why? But why? For what? That's what I'm saying. Why are you judging her? For what? What did she do?
Based on the same reasons we judge everyone else, based off your actions. I
Right.
do think that these men need to be held accountable. Probably even more so than the young lady, because who is letting her suck their dick?
I'm gonna be honest.
And still after that, they still won't let her fuck.
That's
away
true.
from her tonsil.
That's true
A
too.
lot of these men that she mentioned that she slept with is men that women are attracted to, that women are fans of. So they're like, oh, where is she looking? I want to hear how that was about. So I can see
Yeah, like
why
dudes
women
will buy
would
it.
want
Yeah,
to
But let me
picture,
jump
but
in
if
really
it was-
quick. Let me
hold
jump in,
on.
because that's not fair that women think that. She fucked Colin Kaepernick when he was different. We didn't
Not
love him
different,
like we
but
do
just
now.
before he,
Like, he was
you know.
a backup, he was losing his starting job. Like, I don't think it's fair that she get to come out while we really fucking with Cap, and while he's got a really powerful movement going on, and she got to come and cheapen
is
it
it a
with
whole
what she
relationship?
did
Do
in
you think that-
2013.
do you
What
think
they
stuff like
did
that-
at 2013.
What
Not,
she
not
did.
she did, what they did.
No,
Because they both
time out.
fucked.
No, wait,
What
pardon
are
me,
you
Remy.
talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Pardon me,
That's what I'm
Remy.
saying with
That's what I don't like. It's a few episodes Scotty did this too. She goes in and she's always trying to make sure that if it, especially if it's a male and a female in the situation, she's always trying to make sure the male gets some of that blame too. Now, I'm not against making sure both sides are equally responsible for something that they are equally responsible for. But in this situation, if me and a female have sex and it's consensual and we go about our ways and we keep it moving down the line, and then years later she decides to write a tell-all book or just tell anybody or just tell a bunch of, whatever the case may be, that mess now is in her hands and it's her fault because she decided to go and make it something more than what it was, in the sense of trying to make $1 off of it now. So she's trying to make that money off of it now. I was out of the situation. I've been gone. We probably don't even talk no more. I don't know what's going on in your life. Nothing. And you come out with a tell-all book and you're gonna say something that happened. This happened in 2013. It's now 2018, about to be 2019. You talk about something that happened 5 years ago. You're trying to hold me responsible for her current actions. That's fucking insane. Scotty always doing shit like this, and like it really gets under my skin sometimes when I'm watching the show. I'm like, yo, you gotta relax. Like you're like, sometimes, in my opinion, when people are doing like the over things, like being fake woke or too pro black or too much of a feminist, like you gotta scale back sometimes. You gotta be able to listen and understand the entire thing that's going on versus just trying to be on the defense and being like, I'm for this cause or I'm for these women or I'm for this black person without even knowing all of the details. Sometimes you just gotta let this shit simmer and then be like, you know what, this is a little messed up, you know what I'm saying, but I'm all for her doing it in the sense of like, cause she might need the money, but she could have probably went about it a different way, or she could have masked it a little different, or whatever the case may be. It's weird. I'm gonna play a little bit more, then after that, I'm gonna get out of this. I'm gonna move on.
holding people accountable. Why can't you hold Colin
You can't
accountable?
talk and listen.
Allegedly.
You can't talk and listen.
No, because you're saying what
You
she
asked
did.
the question. They both made the decision to involve themselves in a very intimate act.
Facts.
You're right. They both are culpable for that.
Right.
Her action continued. He told her to get the fuck out of here. So that's why I'm focused on her.
Right.
Because you fucked. You went and got a publishing house. You went and wrote all of this. What are you talking? I don't understand what you're saying.
Exactly, because Colin didn't have to do that. She did. And
He
you
had
still,
no idea
right,
Didn't
but
have
you
to do
still-
what?
Doing that.
But you
Okay, I'm gonna be-
still
you
fucked her.
bypassed
But
it.
you still fucked
No,
her.
but I will.
You still did it.
You said he didn't have
and
to do
you didn't
that.
know. You didn't know what the fuck. Like my thing is, you fucking these no name bitches. You don't know what background they came from. You know nothing.
So what?
Deanna, we're not talking
So,
about two
in order
people fucking.
No.
We're talking about the action after the
but
fucking.
you know who you are.
Here's-
You still fuck them, and still you let them leave out your
Here's-
door.
this-
So
without
she's
giving
making
them
the case. Her
away.
case she'd be trying to make is
Jinx.
crazy.
No, you don't know who everybody is that you are fucking.
So what I'm saying is, how you gonna point the finger at her?
Because she
Point
is
the finger at him for picking who the fuck he's fucking.
Okay,
Yo,
here's
Deanna
where I
hates
point
all
the
men.
finger.
No, I don't.
Here's where I point the finger. You said she had to do it. Nah, she doesn't. She has.
Yeah, what the fuck is Deanna talking
but she
about?
wanted to do it. What I'm saying is,
Yeah, that's
she wanted to do it.
wanting and having to do
But
it.
you're
If you're in court and you have to say, I had to do it to survive, and I wanted to, those are two different crimes.
Yeah.
Right, but they decided to fuck. What she decided to do after?
It seemed like when women do fuck shit, you redirect that energy toward a man.
No,
and it's
I'm
been
just
8
saying-
weeks. And
well-
honestly, I'm confused.
No,
How
it's
do
not.
you pit this? How do you pit this on him?
Because people don't hold niggas accountable.
For what?
That's all I'm saying.
Hold accountable for
Y'all
what,
should
Scotty?
know
What are
who
you
y'all
talking
fucking
about?
Before y'all fuck them.
It's crazy. Now, Scotty be on some shit sometimes. Now, I do agree. You should know who you're getting involved with before you get involved with them. Sometimes you make mistakes on the picks that you make, whether you're male or female. Sometimes we feel like we chose the wrong person, or we shouldn't have had sex with them, or shouldn't have had sex with that chick or that chick, or that guy and that guy if you're a female. But that doesn't mean the actions that come thereafter. And I'm not talking about like you should be careful and then you had a baby and then like, not that. I'm talking about like down the line they come back with some shit like this, a tell-all book, or they come back 8 years later and you're like married, settled down with kids, and they come back and say, oh, remember when we had sex 8 years ago? And they're like, or running to your fucking spouse in a coffee shop or something, and it's like, okay. But sometimes, depending on who you with, and it should not be, people shouldn't be this insecure, but some people are this insecure, and to come back years later, some people will be like, oh, so I ran into your ex or some jump off you had 8 years ago in the shop. Like you being the person that was told that, you'll be like, okay, so what's for dinner? You know what I'm saying? And then they want to go into a whole spiel about why you never told me about this person, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes that shit can spiral out of control depending on who you with, or depending on how that day is, or depending on how they feel at that time. That's minor. Something like this, like a tell-all book, is crazy because just in the sense of I'm trying to like combat some of the things that Scotty's talking about on State of the Culture. You can't blame Colin for this. You can't sit here and say you need to know who you fucking. You don't know when you're, even as a celebrity, you can have sex with another celebrity, like a real celebrity. Like Colin Kaepernick could have slept with the #1, WNBA star, and then years later she could have came out with a tell-all book because she slept with Colin Kaepernick and a slew of other athletes on her way to finding herself, throughout this popularity she gaining because she has access to these upper echelon of men, so to speak. It could have been anybody, so he shouldn't have to be afraid that someone's going to do a tell-all book. And I'm not speaking just for Colin. He's just a major person on the list because his reform, like the things he's trying to do for social injustice, he's the bigger name. Because like Drake, you'll be like, okay, Drake, he got a fucking me about a porn star, expect it. And like Lil Uzi, he's a fucking kid. So it's like, if you're going to give him to, if you look that good and you're in this circuit of people and you were allowed to get close enough to me, those don't count. We're talking about, someone whose social status and the things he's doing precedes that type of behavior today. We're talking about something that happened in 2013, but we're looking at it now today because he's putting out the book is out now. And for Scotty to say somebody like Colin should be more aware of people that they're having sex with because something like this is warranted down the line because people are trying to make money, is fucked up. Like I look at it like, and I agree with Joe how when something happens and a female do some fuck shit, a celebrity or whatever the case may be, when they're talking about it, she's always trying to find a way to twist it back and make it seem like, well, if she wasn't with this man or the man that she did it to, or the man that she was around, or the guys in the room or whatever, she's always trying to twist it around and make it some type of super feminist pro-black type of thing or whatever. And it's like, girl, sometimes you gotta relax, shut the fuck up. Everyone's speaking on the fact that, yeah, they had consensual sex, but is it fucked up now that she's coming out with this book years later with this tell-all and spilling a lot of information about shit that probably the public shouldn't have known just because they're trying to make a couple dollars? Make a fantasy book. You could have wrote some stories about this shit and made it up. It could have just been a nice little novel, a storyline. Exclude the names. It didn't have to be what it was. Like it is now, as far as just spilling information about somebody, because it could be damaging to his character if we weren't like in this era of social media right now. So it's kind of like if this happened years ago before social media platform was that huge, this would be like crazy news, and a lot of people would have been all over it, as far as pointing fingers at Colin Kaepernick, saying like he's like a disgusting person for doing this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah. Because it's crazy. Just like when Superhead dropped her little tell-all thing, at that time people were a little like, whoa. When she started name dropping the people that she had intercourse with, it was like, oh, he's nasty, because the circle was so tight with all the people that was around. So it was crazy. But with this now, it's like, all right, she had sex with a couple celebrities. She dropped a book. We don't care about the fact that she had sex with these celebrities. We care about the fact that, like, why are you dropping the book? Like, why are you telling all this business like that? And then you turn like, oh, it's to chase a check. And then it just goes right back into the narrative when we start looking at a lot of women, especially in entertainment, especially in this era of social media. We're like, yo, y'all would really do anything to get some money. And it's crazy because that's all you see a lot of it. Like women dominate social media from my standpoint, as far as being able to become popular really fast, make money from it, and do other things that they probably were never supposed to do, or probably were never good at, or probably was never thinking about doing ever. You got a lot of strippers out here becoming popular on Instagram because they're half naked the whole time. Come to the club, come see me. And they're building a following, and then next thing you know, they want to be a rapper. When they never thought about being a rapper, but somebody came to them and said, yo, you should think about getting into music because, with your platform, blah, 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 and that's in the third. And it's not even their lane. They're just doing it because they can make $1 off of something that they're probably not good at. And you build the right team, you can be a Bad Baby, and they put together some music. And you build the right team, and you can be a Cardi B, and you can make music, all that kind of stuff. But just the fact that getting to that point takes a lot of showcasing of other things that's not a talent. Like looking good, or being half naked on social media is not a talent. It's easy to do. Like, it's guys out here that post up pictures half naked on social media all the time. Do some of them get a good following? Yes. Are they getting rapid followings like a lot of females? No, but they're getting a pretty good following as well. But it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Most of those guys are like fitness guys, and they're doing exercise videos and things like that, or they are an actual model and they're posting a lot of their content. But the women, we're talking about regular girls who work at McDonald's, got a crazy pop in Instagram, because they look good in the bikini and all these other things, and they want to try to get some of that that money from social platforms. So selling out yourself and selling out personal information has become a thing, and it's getting very, very disgusting because a lot of other people are getting caught in the crossfire as we're going through this. It's not even a transition because it seems like it's going to be here to stay for a very, very long time. So as we're going into this new era of media, a lot of people is going to get hurt in the process. A lot of regular people are hurt every day because somebody becomes a meme who don't really want to become a meme. A lot of celebrities are hurt because information is getting put out there that they never wanted out there, or they never thought would be out there. Everything's getting recorded. When you're in the club, you can't even enjoy yourself anymore. Paparazzi waiting outside a celebrity's home. As soon as they open the gate, boom, flash right there where they go to eat. And then for regular people, a lot of them just trying to make it happen. A lot of them trying to make money that they see other people making, or what they assume other people are making on these social media platforms, especially the women. So it's crazy. It's one of those situations where you want to blame the person that's doing it. Like, you want to blame the female that's going through and dropping this information, and you want to blame her for exposing herself on these platforms and giving up all these details that she could have held to herself. And then one day you sit back, you think like, it's her fault because her actions are her actions, but at the same time, it's the fastest way to make money. Like a lot of these people, at the same time, some of them aren't. They aren't educated past high school. They never maintained a job. Like all these regular things that a lot of their average person had like did before social media blossomed into what it is today. You can make money online. A lot of them never had to do these types of things. I'm tired of seeing the ex stripper story, and that's popping. I'm tired of seeing somebody going viral for doing some of the dumbest shit, and then they're popping. Like, we try to get things like that are more positive to go viral. It doesn't happen. The negative things go a lot more viral because either it's funny or it's disturbing, and you want to disturb other people. Whatever the case may be, we go down this steep hill of bullshit. But these tell-all books, man, they're disgusting. Even when you changing the name of the people, even like all those things, it's like, okay, you know, I changed the name, you don't really know who it is, but then everything else around it references a certain person. That's nasty, man. Like you can be really doing damage to somebody else's life just by digging up some of those old bones and putting them on the table for other people to see. Everybody don't want to see those skeletons. Everybody don't want their business out there like that, and it happens all the time. And majority of it comes from women, and it's very disturbing because it makes it like you shouldn't have to be a celebrity, and you shouldn't and be like scared to talk to people or scared to date and things like that, because now people are trying to sneak pictures of you while y'all had a good night, take pictures of you while while you sleeping in a hotel room or in a bed or whatever, and or record conversations so they can play back later or sell to TMZ 2 years later or whatever the case may be. All that stuff, like we're targeted. Like celebrities are targeted, especially celebrity men, athletes, and things like that. They're targets for women who don't want to work. They're targets for women who just or they're just targets. Like there's no other way to really explain it, and it's sick. It's really, really sick. For them to be like targeted, and they're targeted for financial reasons solely. I'm a target. Like they target these men with hopes of either winning them over and being in a relationship and being pampered for the rest of their lives because they got millions, or getting knocked up and having a baby, and now you're going to get child support at least until your child's 18, and so you're going to be set for 18 years, and then what? So it's sick that they're targets like that. I mean, and men just in general on your average daily men, like a lot of men are targets. You got a good job, you got females out here targeting you. Drive a nice car, they out here targeting you. Dress nice, they out here targeting because they assume you have money. And I've been in conversations that a lot of women, they don't believe in the whole 50-50 mentality of a household in this current economy. They think a man should be the sole provider and they can take their money and spend it and he pay all the bills and then do nothing. There are women like that. There are women who can't do it on their own. They're looking for someone to assist them. Let's just use that word. Looking for someone to assist them in their financials. And so they're looking for somebody else with money and somebody else who drives, and because they don't, or whatever the case may be. It's a lot of things like that. There are some women who are doing very well on their own and who wouldn't take taking a man in who's not at her level or above. So that's understandable. But the more things that I do see is I see, a lot of women out here who seem to be stuck in a time or a mentality of a man has to do financially well in order to have you in his life. And it's like, one, why? Especially if you're young. Like if you're young, like if you're like 25 and younger, you shouldn't be looking to a man in your age range for financial growth. They're still developing themselves as a human being. Some of them just got fresh out of college. They just started their careers and things like that. You shouldn't be like, well, if you ain't got, and you be looking like I'm 23. What do you mean if I ain't got? And what do you have? If you can't come to me and say if I don't have, if you don't have. If you don't have either, we shouldn't even be having this conversation. You know what I'm saying? If I met you on a bus and you tell me I can't fuck with you because you don't drive, I'm gonna be like, at least I got a trans badge. You popped in here with a 2-pack of tokens. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? It changes the whole perception of how you starting to view people, and then that's why people start judging women before they even get a chance to know them because of they met a female here and this was like this. And I met a couple like here and they acted this way. So I'm going to assume if I meet you here too, that you're going to act like the other women that I met here as well. So all of that has to change. It's a vicious cycle of things that goes on. And a lot of it is derived from some of the most backwards mentalities up for today's economy. I'm only speaking on today's economy. I'm not saying like a man should never be able to take care of his woman and he should never be able to financially provide. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is if he can't, if it's something that he cannot do because his finances don't allow it, and the woman in a relationship is not willing to put forward her finances as well mentally. I'm not saying she wouldn't do it, because if we're in the same house, if I don't have it and you got it, you're going to put it up. Like, you're going to pay this bill. Like, there's no question about it. Or we don't need to be in this relationship because you're not going to make me go above and beyond and super struggle so you can seemingly be comfortable at the same time. It's stupid. Let's just not struggle and get it done together. But you got some women that's opposed to that. You got some women that don't want any of that to do. They like 50-50, no. Some of them don't even want to do 60-40, 70-30. And all that stuff is no. And then we get caught in these situations where, and now I'm going off on a fucking rant. We get caught in certain situations in this economy where you have, even if you have, let's create the seemingly perfect scenario. You have the father, the mother, and the child or the children all in the same house, right? The dad works, the mom works. But say the mom works, she gets off a decent time, early enough to get the kids from school, or the kids are becoming home from after school around the same time, right? So we have that. And then at the same time, you have the dad that's in that same household that goes to work. And so say now the mom is like, all right, well, you're the provider, so you got to make sure these bills are paid, all of them. And I'm going to take in, I'll get groceries and I'll pay the cable bill. One necessity is the food, and then the luxury item, the cable. So now the man is responsible for the water, the electric, the gas, the rent or the mortgage, the car note if he got one, the insurance, and all that stuff like that. He's responsible for all of that. And say that wipes out his financials. Especially when we're talking young. We're talking like a young family. We're not talking about somebody like 40 that should be well off and okay and uncomfortable in their lifestyle, at least middle class. We're talking about like, younger, 24 with a 2-year-old, some shit like that. Now you got this woman mentality like, nah, my mom told me if a man can't, then he's not worth shit. And this man is putting up all of his money towards the house, and he has nothing for himself at the end of all of that. There's nothing for him to have. He can say, yeah, my bills are paid. He can say, the lights are on, and, we got food and stuff like that, but I have $0. And then my spouse went, she did, she got the food and the cable's on and whatever case may be. And, she just went and brought a brand new Gucci bag. When I haven't brought myself something in a while because I keep, paying these bills. And then it's crazy that some women actually think that that's okay. Or say his child don't even make him enough money. He just started his career, so now he's banging out all this overtime. You know what happens after that? He's working extra hard. He's working all these crazy extra hours to keep you in what you deem to be comfortable while you go to work and make your money and the kids home. So he's working doubles and this and the third. And now the complaint comes that you're never home. So now you have another issue. You see where this goes? Like, this goes down the line of, if it's not 50-50, it's not going to work. If you don't have the mentality of 50-50 is what I'm saying. Because if I make way more than you, I'm not going to make you pay half of the bills. It's obviously just going to be like, okay, what do you make? Okay, take care of this, and this, and I'll take care of all of the rest. That's different because I can afford it and I'll have some left for myself. If you get to the point where you're paying bills in a two income household and you don't have anything left for yourself because your spouse is saying that it's your duty to provide, that crazy word that women like to throw around that a lot of them don't know what the fuck it really means. It's your job to provide for your family. So now you're always broke all the time, and she gets to go and buy new shoes and buy new bags and get her hair done and get her nails done and do all this shit, but then complain about she don't get to see you, or the sex life is dwindling down because you're banging out doubles all the time, and then a complaint comes that she wants a divorce or she want to break up because you're trying to provide. Because that's a real thing. It happens a lot. So it's crazy, you know. Long rant on that stemming from something that probably had nothing to do with that, but it is what it is. Let's talk about entertainment just a little bit more, then I'm going to get up out of here, guys. Congrats to Ray Shrimmer. They signed a $20 million deal with Bel Air Rosé, the sparkling wine. A lot of people think it's champagne. From my understanding, it's a sparkling wine. But a $20 million endorsement deal or branding deal, whatever it is, for them, that's great. Like 20 mil, that's excellent. You know, I would think someone like, you know, Diddy and will try to get them in on Ciroc or something like that, but I still don't see them getting 20 mil. Like I don't see a lot of places offering them 20 million. So for them to offer them 20 mil, I don't even know what type of contract that is. I don't know if it's a lifetime thing. I don't know if they're I have no idea. No idea. But 20 million Ray Shrimmer for Bel Air, from Bel Air Rose. Shout outs, man. That's great. That's excellent. I love it. If anybody was paying attention this week on social media as well, we had the young lady on Dr. Phil this week that was tripping. The chick, what's her name? Treasure. Transracial. Cool. Let's make that a thing. Let's make it a thing. So quick insight on her. You had the chick, Treasure. She was on Dr. Phil. Her mom, I believe, and you know she's on there. She's saying like she's an African American young teenager. I think she's like 16 or something like that, 16, 17. Clearly African American. She identifies as white. So she goes on, she's slandering black girls, black women, black people. She just slandering. They're this, they're that. They're not smart. They're uneducated. I speak like a white person because they speak smart, and black people speak ghetto, and all these other things. Just bad. Like, she was off the rails. Now, one of the issues that sparked this was that her mom was married to a white man who she was told was her father, her and her, I believe, her brother. He was white, mom's black, obviously, and he passed away in 2006. So the stepfather passed away in 2006, who they assumed was her real father, and she ends up telling him, "Hey, that wasn't your real dad. That was only your stepdad." So now, this girl or these kids grew up their entire life thinking that they were biracial. Okay. Now it is now 2018. He died in 2006. So tell me why, after all of these years, this girl is still trying to identify herself as something that she's not. Clearly not visibly, clearly not biologically, because your mom, told you what the truth is. And 12 years later, you're on this shit. Like, let's just speak about this whole identifying yourself as something else in general. I am not going to talk about transsexuals. I am like, we're not going to do that. Way too touchy. Way too many people got different opinions. But transracial, trans age, just like shit that start getting weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we continuously as a society allowing people to say that they identify as something that they are not? Now, Dr. Phil did make a good statement. It was kind of understandable. And don't quote me on it, but he said something like, you identify with your surroundings and your upbringing and things like that. That's how you identify. Your identity has nothing to do with your actual like genetic makeup or anything like that. Those are two separate things. So that I get. But when we're talking about something like your actual, like your race, the color of your skin, your background, your ethnic background, identifying as, I'm an African American male, and if I go out here and say I identify myself as a white male because my stepmom, who I thought was my mom, or my stepdad, let's say my stepdad makes it easier. Say my stepdad who was white, who I thought was my dad the entire time, who ends up not being my dad, and my mom tells me that he's black. I'm still gonna identify I'm white. Fuck that. I've identified myself as a white person. And I'm still in high school. And I am degrading this race of people who is dominant in where I go to school and where I frequent. And the crazy thing about it is her best friend is black. Now, funny thing about that is we always get we say that about white people who are racist. They always say I have a friend that's black or my best friend is black or something like that. And it doesn't mean that they're not racist, which is true. It just was funny because she identifies herself as a white person. Her best friend is black and she is killing black people. The lips are big and the nose is big and the teeth, whatever the case, he was just like fucking hammering it in like, this is disgusting. I would never be. There's no way in hell I could be black. Meanwhile, she's not light skinned. She said her hair is naturally straight. You can obviously tell that's not the case. It's just weird. Like, why do we continuously allow people to pick things out of the air and then add trans in front of it, and that's what we have to respect and let them identify themselves as, because that's what they identify as. Like the 60-year-old man who identifies himself as like a fucking 6-year-old little girl or something like that. No, you're not. You're fucking the 60-year-old white man with a wig on. Cut it the fuck out. We cater to that shit, and we as a society, because I don't let my kid come to me and say like, Dad, I'm white, and I'll be like, no, you're not. Well, that's how I feel, and black people are ugly, and like, we'll have to have a good conversation about this, and by the end of that conversation, they'll have a great understanding of that shit ain't you. You can't just go out here and start identifying yourself as something, and we gotta accept it as a society. And if you don't, you're fucking insensitive to what's going on, or maybe someone has a mental illness and we're being insensitive. No, we keep fucking allowing people to make up shit to be talked about because it's something else. I can't run around sitting here saying I identify as a white person, even if I was raised by a bunch of white people and I'm culturally more in tune with their culture. I can't be like this girl Treasure just saying I identify as a white person, and I look nothing like the people that I'm seeing I identify as. Like that's one of the other factors is common sense. Like if I don't look like that, I can't identify myself as that. If I don't look like a white man, I can't identify myself as a white man. If I don't look like a female, I cannot identify myself as a female because I know what a female entails as far as the definition of the anatomy of a female. You see what I'm saying? So I can't identify myself as 12 if I knew I was born 34 years ago. I can't do that because I know logically that is like my age is how long I've been on this planet outside of my mom when my mom had me. You know what I'm saying? When I was pushed out, it started the fucking clock. The clock has started and this is my birthday. And I've been here X amount of years. I identify with the year of how many times it rolled the fuck around. But we allow people to get away with shit, and then we want to create all of these different sub movements and all this other shit, and people want to be on the right side of history so bad that we continuously allow all of these crazy things to be created. All of these different subgenres of human beings. It's ridiculous. In my opinion, it is outrageous. Like we always, and it's like we have to allow it because it could be a mental illness, and it gives the medical field and pharmaceutical companies and all the other things to prescribe, other things to suggest, other forms of therapy. It's a money grab. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's just more money to be shelved out for something that's as ridiculous as I identify as something I am clearly not. And that's what makes it crazy, because identifying as something and being able to, what is it? I think identify with, of course, those are two different things. Like if I grew up in the suburbs around a bunch of white people and they lived a certain way, that's what I identify with. It's not what I identify as, because I know in that entire time I'm a black person living in this predominantly white neighborhood, and they're doing things that are more in tune with how their culture do things on the regular. Cool. The same way is like if you got a white kid growing up in an urban area that we deem to be called the ghetto, and he grew up there his entire life, more than likely they're not going to grow up in what we call proper, and he's not going to talk what we call proper or white, and he's not going to act a certain way. He probably act a little more like he was more cultural. He have a little more hip hop in his step, for the majority of people who grew up like that. And that doesn't mean he identifies as a black person. It doesn't mean he identifies with, because he's been around. He understands that he's been in that area. He probably still didn't have it as hard as far as social acceptance on a large scale. I'm not talking about just going to school and being like, hey, little white boy or whatever. That's different. I'm talking about on a larger scale. He still got in the long run, he still might have white, a little more white privilege, but he can still identify more with, but he's not going to turn and say, I'm black. I identify as a black person. I grew up with a black person. My mom told me that my dad was black, but it turned out my dad was really white, and the guy that raised me, the black man, is just my stepdad. Like, that don't mean that definitely doesn't mean you're black then. We have to stop giving people these excuses to act crazy. Mental illness is a real thing, and we need to learn how to address it a lot better than just allowing people to do or say whatever it is that they want, and then label it trans whatever and say that's a real thing. We have to be more sensitive as a society. So we just gotta cut this shit, man. Let's all make this trans thing go away, as far as stamping other things behind it. Like, I feel like if it's not a sexual thing and you didn't actually transform into something else, then you're not that. That's my opinion. Again, I'm not going to deep dive on anything else. I'm only talking about the trans racial thing that's been going on with the young lady dressed up on Dr. Phil. That's all I'm going to touch on for now. Pause for the freaks. But that's about it, man. I don't really have any more to discuss. I don't have too much more to talk about. It's been kind of slow in the music field. It's coming out the end of the year, so the entertainment industry is a little slow. We're just waiting for projects to drop. I think we have Takeoff project dropping at the end of the week and probably some other things. So, next week, next Tuesday, I will end up talking about that more than likely, seeing how that goes. Some other music things, and we'll keep it moving from there. So everyone here is tuned in on my Instagram live. Thank you for tuning in. Facebook live. Thanks for tuning in. Everyone who is going to tune in and watch on YouTube, thank you to the people who are checking it out and subscribing. Same thing for all of the listeners on SoundCloud. Check out my social media platform for the podcast. It's Highly Flavored Podcast on IG. Nice and simple. And that's it for the show today, guys. Highly Flavored episode 10. And I am gone. See you guys.